Okay, so we're gonna work on some hip internal rotators, which is interesting because so many muscles of the hip are internal rotators, depending on whether or not your hips are flexed or extended, and if you're using the front or the back fibers. And I do not have all of that memorized, and that is okay. Let's start out on the mat though, or on the ground here. And I just want you to go ahead and take your legs and turn them in. And then that's internal rotation with your legs rolling in from the hip bone and turning out. And one of the fun things that happens is that as we age, as our hips tend to not be quite so pristine, clean, bony wise, we lose some of that internal rotation. But it's muscles that do it. So if we work on those muscles, we can get some of that going. So you're gonna use a foam roller. If you don't have a foam roller, a lumpy washcloth, the washcloth tied in a knot, and maybe we'll use some massage tools too, scrapers or the heel of your hand. So we're just gonna start out with a good old fashioned. Ooh, I had us on the ground turning our legs in and out just for a measure, just kind of noting where we're at here. And even noting where we're tight, like I'm feeling tight in my upper hip on the left. We'll just see if we can change that. All right, so come onto your foam roller here. We're gonna do a good old fashioned external rotator, piriformis stretch. And where are my blocks? It's my foam roller. Yeah. Arms are not long enough. There we go. That's not comfortable. So I really want to get some of those outer fibers of the glute. So really turning hip on its side here. Getting not just the gluteus medius, but the minimus, the little. Medius is a fan-shaped muscle the size of your hand, and the minimus is like the size of your fist. So a little bit more out to the side. So I'm just going to settle in there. Now, if you don't have a foam roller, if you are doing rock your baby, and you're putting that little lump right underneath those external rotators, that's going to feel just great. Breathing in and breathing out, and there might be a spot that you just want to settle in on. And I truthfully, I'd like to settle in here for about 40 minutes, but I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on. I find that same thing on the other side. So finding figure four stretch. And then on the outer edge of your glute. I don't know why I ask people if they have foam rollers when they travel. I mean, some of my patients travel with their foam rollers. And every time they say that, I'm like, geez, there's just no way that I would be able to fit that in my luggage. There's just no way. When I went on a cruise, I had 54 pounds in my luggage. Yeah, I am that person. I am that person. Thank goodness my boyfriend had 30. Anyways, I want to go really onto the outer edge of my hips. So I'm going to pick up my hips and just roll onto the outer glute here, outer fleshy part of my hip. Breathing in and breathing out. From here, coming off your foam roller, I'm going to flip it over actually and get the front side. Let's start out with the adductors. So we're going to go inner thighs. For inner thighs, we make the foam roller go parallel to our body and then off to the side. So laying on your belly, foam roller off to the side. And we have this half froggy position basically that you're familiar with. And rolling kind of all the way up to the groin. Some of those internal rotators are very high up there. All right, science experiment putting a yoga block underneath my knee because that's too intense with my foam roller. And I can't handle it. The yoga block just makes there be a little less gravity going on. And again, if you have that lumpy washcloth, you can go ahead and pop that underneath there. If that feels like nothing, you just want to massage, you know how to do like a kneading of your inner thigh. That's kind of what we're looking for. All right. Now we're going to stay on the same hip here, but we're going to turn the foam roller perpendicular to your body. We're going to get the hip flexor. So kind of find your hip bone and we're going to go to the side of the hip, looking for that tensor fascia. Is it Lotta or latte? I don't know. My problem is that my anatomy professor, I told you this. I'm rolling my hip a little bit, just really onto that outer hip. My anatomy professor was from Chicago. So everything I learned was with a little bit of a heavy Chicago accent. And I'm one of those people that learns by reading. So yeah, I read it. I have no idea how to pronounce it. So I'm sorry for my ignorance, friends. All right, so we did the TFL on the left. We'll do the TFL on the right. So coming on to the hip flexor on the right before we do the inner thighs on the right. And just kind of putting that outer right hip into the foam roller or into the washcloth lump you have made. And finding some breath in and breath out. From here, I'm just going to do some, ooh, there we go. Holding in on the spot there. And I want to get in some inner thigh on that right side as well. So you can just move the block over. I'm going to flip so you can kind of see what I'm doing, making the block be parallel. Again, with my body, I'm using my trick of putting my yoga block out there because I can't handle heavy going on. Just letting it sink in. Breathing into your hip here. Now, if there are any spots that need attention with your hands or your massage tool, I'm going to go ahead and find them. Blocks off to the side. I'm really looking at inner thighs with this. So I'm going to start on the right side, taking your lobster claw grip here, just kind of getting into that inner thigh. The adductor magnus is part of the adductor complex. It's a little bit on the back side of your inner thigh, almost like a hamstring there. And then we go to the other side. Working through there, and then maybe just take a peek, see how much you're able to turn your hips in and how much you're able to turn your hips out. And finding a lot more range of motion in both of those directions. Again, it's so interesting because a lot of those muscles both turn the hip in and turn the hip out. So, all right. We're going to do some fun mobility work on our back here. Take your legs up in the air. Straight up in the air. You're going to turn your feet out, heels together. And then turn your feet in, toes together. Legs up in the air, toes out, belly first position, and then toes in. If you find belly first position, heels together, toes out, bend your knees. And then straighten your knees. Take your legs a little bit past 90. So you're engaging your abs a little bit so they're not quite bent to 90. And do the same thing here again. Bending and straightening. Now turn your toes in, straight up in the air. Turn your toes in, bend and straighten your knees. And then bring your legs a little bit past So you're having to engage your abs. It's like you're doing a straight leg raise almost. And then bend and straighten your knees. All right, we can do the next part with legs straight up in the air. So heels together, toes out, bend your knees until you can't bring them any closer to your body. So bring your knees, bring your feet way down. Now you're going to turn everything on its head here. So put your knees together, feet are out. So your thigh bones are internally rotated here. Your feet are turning out. So your thigh bones are internally rotated. And take your legs up to the ceiling. Externally rotate, toes point out. Frog leg your knees, knees come wide. Now let's turn the knees in. So we have internally rotated, feet are out, and we go straight up to the ceiling. Externally rotate, feet out. Knees come out as the knees and feet come down. The knees come in, internally rotate with feet out, and we go up. And we get to do the opposite. Let's take a moment here. Turn your toes together, internally rotate, thighs are pointing in. From here, bend your knees. Your feet are going to come wide here. Your feet are going to come apart. Now, find that frog leg here, feet together, knees are pointing out, externally rotate, push your heels together as we come up. Internally rotate, can you even push your knees in towards each other with this internal rotation? Coming down, bend your knee, knees point out, push your feet together as you come up. Push your knees together. Coming down, 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 down. Then frog leg, push your feet together, coming up. Oh, bring your feet down to the ground. Sun windshield wipers, both knees go to the right. And both knees go to the left. And both knees go to the right. And both knees go to the left. Come onto your side, coming up, find your child's pose. Keep blocks handy. Slide, feet together, and fingers go long. Finding a breath in, and a breath out. So one of the bummers about yoga is that we don't do internal rotation. Oh, we strengthen a lot of the muscles that also internally rotate, but it just doesn't happen very much in yoga. So that is what it is. And we're going to work on it today on hip 45. So come into quadruped. Hands below shoulders, knees below hips. And let's start off by finding a cow pose. Lengthening your spine here, and exhale, find cat, arching your back. And tucking tail under. Inhale, find cow. Exhale, find cat. Inhale, find cow. And exhale, find cat. Find a neutral spine here. You're going to go ahead and grab one block. I'll give you front view on this. Okay. Take the block underneath your right knee. So your hips are going to be very uneven. Your right hip's going to be higher than your left. Okay. Put weight through your right knee and use your hip muscles to pull your left leg away from the ground, left knee away from the ground. And I think you can see that in my camera right here. So pushing through your right leg. If you do not have a yoga block, you definitely have either books because you're on vacation. Brought way too many books, if you're like me. Or you can find some towels. You just need some sort of a kind of riser for your right leg here. And you're working your hip muscles to raise up your left hip. So your hip is going, like the left side is just raising. And this is kind of the opposite of what I tell you to do when we're in quadruped a lot, but we're uneven, right? So lifting, 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 and lowering. Do that as far as you can. Lift it up as far as you can. Using your glute muscles here. And down. And one more time, we lift. Lift it up, 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 up. Now hold it here. Now take your knee. I'm going to point your knee as far out to the side as you can without your pelvis moving. I'm going to say that again. Turn you sideways. So we've lifted the left knee up, off, 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 off the ground. And then keeping the pelvis at the same height, take your knee and point it out to the side. And then internally rotate. Point it in as far as you can. Point it out as far as you can. And point it in as far as you can. Point it out as far as you can. And point it in as far as you can. Find your end range here. How far can you go? You're going to bring your left knee down to the ground. Sink back for just a moment. Give your butt a little bit of a rest. Breathing in. And breathing out. We're going to do that same work on the opposite side. So bring your left knee onto the block. Hands to the ground. Lifting your right leg up, elevator on the right side. And then we bring it down. Elevator up. Use your glute here to lift, not to rotate, to elevator, to angle your right hip up. Right knee comes down, no, right knee comes up. Let's do one more. Bring right knee down. Now we bring right knee up, 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 pushing in with left leg here. Externally rotate so the pelvis didn't move, but the knee points out to the side. And then the knee points in. Knee points out. Knee points in. Knee points out. Knee points in. Knee points out. Knee points in. Let's hold that knee pointing in, holding it here. Woofda. And then bring both knees down to the ground. Let's find one cow pose. Let's find one cat pose. Neutral spine. Walk off to the side. The foam roller needs to go off to the side. Blocks will stay handy for this. From here, we're going to open up and activate the hip muscles just in general. Like I said, not a lot of internal rotation going on in yoga. But we do work a lot of the muscles that do the internal rotation. So from here, take your right leg straight behind you, toes to the ground. Toes to the ground and make your belly tight, squaring your hips off. And then with belly tight, lift your right leg up. Keep your neck soft here for some reason. I'm pretending like my neck is an abdominal. Be soft with that. Take your right knee up towards your right shoulder. We're going to step forward, finding a lizard lunge here to start off with. Let's sink your weight forward. Take your knee out to the side if you would like. Right arm can come high. Breathing in. And breathing out. Take 10 fingers down to blocks. And we sink hips back. A little bit of a back stretch here. And we come forward. And we sink hips back. My hands are on blocks to bring the ground a little bit closer to me. With all of that, I find an opening in your right hip. Blocks to assist. So bring blocks to higher level. You're going to toe heel your right foot into the midline here. Let's take this right knee here and turn it into the side. Just bring it in. And bring it back to center. Turn your right knee in. Just butterflying it towards the left here. Taking the right knee, bringing it towards the left. Bring it back forward, then in. Forward, in. And forward, taking 10 fingers high, breath in, and exhale. We're going to twist the torso to the right here. Now here we are, rotated torso. Now try again to take your right leg and push it towards midline. Maybe you feel some internal rotation happening on the right leg, but maybe you feel it happening on the left. It's kind of using our body to create a little bit of internal rotation on the left side and the right side. Breath in. So cartwheel, hands down, finding your half splits here. We're set up for that. Lift your heart, bring your right leg forward, and find a figure eight of your right foot, maybe. Bring the sole of the right foot back, plant it down, push your left knees into the left toes into the ground, inhale. And on exhale, come up into a lunge here. Pull back on your right hip and push ball of left foot into the ground. Breath in and breath out. Now pull back on your right hip. And we found some muscles just a second ago in our inner thighs. Can we use those inner thigh muscles to kind of squeeze together into midline? You don't need to take your knees past midline, but just to engage a little bit. Breath in. Exhale, take this whole operation left long edge of the mat and bring my blocks with me. Turn your toes in generously and shimmy your hips left and right. Let your head hang. And tuck and release your pelvis here. Bring your weight ever so subtly to the right, allowing yourself to load on the right. Your left knee will come down to the ground here. Keep your knee pointing forward in the side mat pose here. And just sink over to the right here, getting some inner thigh stretch. Maybe sinking your hips back towards your left heel. Turn your right foot so the toes are pointing at the long edge of the mat. Push your blocks to the front of the mat, then take 10 fingers high and open up into a half warrior two. Gazing out over right fingertips and sinking into this. Take your right knee out to the side and take your right knee towards midline a little bit. As we sink, just see how that feels. Transition to gate pose. So straightening out right leg, take right hand to the inside of right knee, left arm comes high. Side body stretch. Take your hands to your hips. Bend your right knee a little bit. You're going to pivot facing both feet forward. And I've got to put my weight in my right foot. Ooh. So I can pivot on left knee by hook or by crook. I'm going to transition back into a child pose with a single leg stance. So put your weight into your left foot here. Pick your right leg up. Make it harder than it needs to be here. Eventually coming into a tall kneel, hands to your hips here, pushing hips forward, finding some modified camel, very modified camel here, just an opening stretch. And from here, coming down, find a child's pose, grab a sip of water, drink a coffee, whatever you need right now. Breath in and breath out. Coming into quadruped, hands below shoulders, knees below hips. Find a cow pose, inhale. And find your cat. Neutral spine, take your left leg straight out behind you and push your toes into the ground, square your hips off here. Lift your left leg up. I didn't cue this on the other side, but why not? Turn your toes in for a moment. Turn your toes out, so you're externally rotating from the hip with this, if you can. Going back and forth through this. And take your left knee up towards your left shoulder. Find your lizard lunge. You got blocks right here to assist. 2 blocks to the inside of your left foot and sink your weight way forward. And sink it way back. It feels good to walk your hands a little bit wider to the right. Go ahead and do that as you sink back. You might access things in your back a little bit better. I can release your pelvis here if that feels good. Then maybe walking your leg over to your hands over to your left foot, sinking into your proper lizard lunge. Left arm is high, knee comes out to the side. Breathing in and breathing out. Inhale here. Exhale, take 10 fingers down to the ground. Blocks to assist as you toe heel your left foot into midline. Sole of the left foot underneath the left knee. Inhale, rising up on your low crescent. Tuck tail under. We twist to the left. Let's experiment here with how it feels to butterfly that knee in and out. And then maybe resting here, tall spine. Can we twist a little bit more? And totally pull your left knee in towards midline just a bit. Breathing in. Cartwheel hands down to your blocks. Framing your left foot, inhale. And on exhale, push right toes into the ground, coming up into your lunge here. Pull back on your left hip, push ball of right foot into the ground. Inner thighs engage here, finding stability. Breathing in. And breathing out. Take your blocks with you as you come to the right long edge of the mat. Coming into a straddle forward fold. Tuck and release your pelvis here. Let's bend one knee, bend your right knee, sink your weight into your right foot here. We didn't cue this on the other side, but that's okay. Nice little unilateral pose here. And then sink your weight over to the left. Weight comes over to the right. And weight comes over to the left. Come to center, bring your right knee down to the ground. Keeping your left knee bent, toes pointing to the long edge of the mat. Just sink your weight over to the left and back. Eventually, maybe taking your hips back towards your right heel here. Some interesting stretching that can happen there. From here, take your legs, put your left toes at the short edge of your mat. Take 10 fingers, let's push those blocks front of the mat. There we go. Then take 10 fingers high, coming out into your half warrior two, sinking forward into this. And then how does it feel to find a little bit more external rotation in front knee here? So taking that out to the side a little bit more. And taking it in a little bit more. And breathing out, straightening your left leg. Toes point at short edge of mat, coming into your gate pose with right arm high, left hand to the inside of your left knee. Side body stretch here. Breath in. And breath out. Swoop your hands to your hips. We're going to transition into half kneel with a little bit of single leg balance. So with grace for yourself and or in your body, maybe put weight through your left foot and use your right toes to kind of point your body forward here. Once your body is pointing forward, and set your right toes down on the ground and find some single knee stance. Using your arms to counterbalance here. I was going through my exercises and I found single knee balance on a Bosu as an exercise. It's like, whoa, I didn't invent this as a rehab concept. Shucks. And eventually we come into a tall kneel. Hands come to your hips, pushing your hips forward, finding your camel here. Long breath in, long breath out. Going through that series once again. If you need a quick break, quick sip of coffee, quick water, you go ahead and find it. Coming into your child's pose. Breath in, breath out. Coming into quadruped, find a cow pose, find a cat. Then go neutral spine, take your right leg straight behind you. Push your toes into the ground, belly tight then. Lift your right leg and let's do internal rotation. So straight leg, but can you make your thigh bone turn in and turn out. Try to not cheat. It's not about how far you go, it's about how far you can make your femur properly go in the joint. From here, take right knee up towards right shoulder and step it forward. Blocks are here. Bring the ground closer to you. Sink your weight way forward in this. Just one time, and then exhale, sink your hips way back in this. Breathing here. Going into our lizard lunge here, coming forward, taking right arm high. Option for a quadricep stretch here if that feels good, with or without a prop, of course. You can use a strap or a yoga magic circle, Pilates magic circle. From here, releasing. Releasing foot, blocks on highest setting, toe feel the right foot into midline. Experimenting with internal, external rotation here just a little bit. Flutter your knee in and out. Rolling on your foot. Then take 10 fingers high. We twist to the right, tuck your tail under on the left, and think about inner thighs pulling in towards each other. Just notice how that feels here. Breath in. Exhale, cartwheel hands down to your blocks. Weight comes into your right foot, toes on the ground on the left, and on exhale, lift up into a lunge. Pull back on your right hip. Keep inner thighs engaged here. Breathing in. And breathing out. Walk your torso over to the left long edge here. Straddle forward fold. This time we will have knees pointing in. Deep. A little bit of a bend on the right leg and a little bit of a bend on the left. And by leg, I mean knee. There we go. It's going to be hard to do. Don't push it. From here, bring weight into your right foot. And then come down, left knee comes down to the ground. Right knee is still pointing forward on the mat. Right knee can sink into this inner thigh stretch here. And shifting your weight back into your left heel here just a little bit. Blocks can go to the front of the mat. Let's rise up. Arms come to a T. And then we're just going to open up into a half warrior two as right toe points to the short edge of the mat to your right. Sinking into this. Let's take your right arm high. I like to call this half reverse warrior, side body stretch here. And then exhale, engage pose, straighten out right leg, right hand inside of knee, left arm is high. Tuck your tail under on left. Let's cartwheel hands down to the ground. You're gonna grab your blocks. I'm changing it up. Grabbing your blocks, you're gonna use blocks to assist, to make yourself face forward, and I totally skipped a half splits. So here we are in our half splits. Heaven forbid I miss a pose. Now from here, you can bring sole of the foot to the ground on the right, scooch those blocks forward. I like that transition better anyways. And now we'll do our single knee balance here. Put your weight into your left foot. Be goofy with it. Take your right foot far from your center of gravity and make yourself do a lot of corrections. Whew, whew. I can't get back up. I can. Bring both knees to the ground and find your camel here. We have one more camel to go, so no need to go ultra deep in this. Come down to the ground, find your child's pose. Breath in, breath out. Coming up into quadruped, hands below shoulders. Inhale, find your cow pose. Exhale, find your cat. Neutral spine. Take your left leg straight behind you. Square your hips off. Lift your left leg, and then we'll take it straight forward, skipping internal, external rotation. So we did that one time on each side. Blocks can bring the ground closer to you, so you can bring your weight forward and shift your weight back, back, back generously. Just doing that one time. Coming forward into your lizard, maybe left arm reaches high and grabs onto right foot without a prop. And then from here, releasing your right foot. Shift your weight back. Frame your left foot here. Take 10 fingers high, find your low crescent. And we twist over to the left, tucking tail under. I'm thinking about just a little bit of a micro kind of isometric internal rotation, just turning in your thighs just a little bit towards each other as you twist. Breath in and breath out. Cartwheel hands down, grabbing blocks, taking your blocks to the right long edge of the mat, pivoting here. With knee pointing out to the short edge of the mat, sinking weight into your left, coming out of it. Take your hips back towards your right heel. And some opening here. From here, we will rise up, keeping our blocks right here, here-ish, rising up into our half warrior two. Gazing out over left fingertips, and if you'd like to glide forward into it, please feel free to do so. On inhale, left arm comes high. And exhale, half gate pose, full gate pose. Sorry about that. Left hand to inside of left knee, right arm is high. Breathing in and out. A more graceful transition. We'll take 10 fingers down to blocks here, framing left foot. Using the blocks to pivot your body facing forward. Find our half splits here. And a figure eight of your left foot. Lift your heart and sink into this. Breath in and breath out. And from here, bring the sole of your left foot to the ground. Hands to your hips, root into that right side. Finding your single knee balance here. And eventually coming into your camel. And once both knees find the ground, finding whatever version of camel serves you, whatever depth you'd like. I really like just a baby camel. Just a little bit of hips forward and head back. Thinking about lifting your chest high more than you're thinking about back bend in this version. From here, bring your hips back to your heels. I'm going to switch your legs out in front of you. Get yourself square in your mat. Making your belly tight, slow and controlled, coming all the way down to the ground. Reaching 10 fingers long. Breath in. And breath out. Bending both knees. Bring both knees over to the right. And both knees over to the left. And both knees over to the right. And both knees over to the left. Taking your right leg up in the air, let your left leg follow. And settle yourself on your mat and your legs up. Wall asana for just a moment, turning your toes in towards each other. And then turning your heel, your belly first position. Turn your toes in. And then turn your toes out. Hip stretch here, right ankle to the top of right knee. Find your supine piriformis, supine pigeon here. Taking as long as you'd like with this stretch. You can finish at your own pace, of course. We found that on the right, and finding that on the left too. Be finding one more legs up in the air, internal rotation and external rotation. Internal and external. Then bringing knees into your chest, maybe curling up like a ball, maybe finding your happy baby. If you're feeling ready for it, take one leg into your Shavasana and let your other leg follow. Breath in and breath out. Thank you so much for flowing with me this morning, and I wish you a beautiful, rainy if you need it, and joy-filled day. Namaste, friends.